Hey guys, Neff here. Today we'll be looking at the Pokemon trading card game for Game Boy. If you purchased this game at launch, you got a super cute promotional Meowth, which was not very good. Anywho, last time I tried recording voice audio, I used a template, or script is the word I'm looking for, and I felt like it didn't sound natural. It sounded kind of rushed and just not how I normally speak. So this time you get to listen to me ramble instead. I was such a huge TCG enthusiast when I was younger. I probably played the Pokemon TCG up through just before Generation 3 cards started being released. I used to play in the local leagues. I still have all my badge pins and TM stickers that you put in the books from way back when, somewhere in storage. But that was a really great time. The Game Boy version is a little lackluster, and my biggest complaint about this is that it gets rid of the human element, which, at least for me as a kid, that was the big appeal. I could play with friends, or I could make new friends at the league, and it was just fantastic. Total side note, but this is the only Pokemon game I know of where it isn't a professor, but he is Dr. Mason. Doctor of what? I don't know. If you know how to play the game, this beginning is pretty tedious because they force all your moves. I actually sped up the footage and it's going to take up most of this video. If you know how to play, being told how to put down energy or how your bench works it's old news. I'm not going to waste anybody's time by just discussing the strategy here because there literally is no strategy. They give you step-by-step directions on what to do. So, talk about something else. As of today, the Sword and Shield DLC Isle of Armor has been out for 3 days. By the time this goes up, probably 4 days. And I gotta say, it looks really beautiful, but it really sets a precedent for what the Crown Tundra needs to be. The expansion pass is $30, and I got about 2 hours worth of play out of this batch, so it's whatever. I already have a bunch of those Pokemon because I've been playing for so long. I've just been transferring them from generation to generation. So I guess if you're a collector and you start fresh every game, there will be plenty for you to do. But for someone like me who's bred competitive teams for a while, the story just didn't hold me. And for anyone with the argument of, well, it's a kid's game, that argument doesn't hold up either, simply because you're not going to find any child that's going to tell you, yeah, that story and that expansion was excellent. No one's going to say that. It's flat. In spite of that, I did actually love the visuals that I saw. The world, the layout, the landscape of the island is really organic, and knowing that we're getting a new Pokemon Snap after a million billion years, it was great. I actually want to play Pokemon Snap again, and just so I can get that feel for a lived-in world again. That was nice. It made me feel nostalgic. I was talking to my friend Ghostly Hero over on his channel. We're doing a Nuzlocke right now. I'll link to his channel in the episode description here. He was telling me that he hasn't actually played the DLC yet, and that he is going to do a Let's Play of it, so we'll be sure to stay tuned for that. As for me, the DLC made me want to go all the way back and start from the beginning. I want to go through Generation 1, Pokemon Stadium, Generation 2, Pokemon Stadium 2, and then just work my way through each generation like I did once before. I'd like to wait till I know just a little bit more about Adobe. That's what I'm using to edit all this currently. But once I do that, that'll give me the opportunity to generate content while I find my niche. I was also thinking about doing some Elder Scrolls Let's Plays on the channel, because someday, we will get Elder Scrolls 6, which, fingers crossed, will be as good as Oblivion. Note that I didn't say Skyrim. Back on track though, since this tutorial battle is almost over. After this, you are given the opportunity to pick a quote-unquote starter deck. There's one for Charizard, one for Blastoise, and one for Venusaur. There's not really anything special about any of them. You'll end up swapping out most of your cards regardless. Both Venusaur and Blastoise have very similar abilities. Charizard is probably the most common pick in the beginning just because he has such high HP and has the ability to do 100 damage with his attack, which is cool, but the ability of Blastoise and Venusaur to move around one energy card of their respective types per turn is just good for survivability. Between Venusaur and Blastoise, there isn't a whole lot of difference between the two of them. Blastoise can do 60 damage at the cost of 5 water energy, and Venusaur can do the same for 4 energy. So I go with Bulbasaur. The Bulbasaur deck also gives me a couple Ghastly and I think a Haunter to get started, which is great because the Gengar does a similar thing with damage as Venusaur and Blastoise do with energy, so that's the route I like to go. Also important to note to check your email frequently, because you will get booster packs, and that's probably the most exciting part of this game, is opening packs. There's a reason unboxing videos are some of the most popular content on YouTube. Oh yeah, and he tells us about Card Pop. Not something we'll be able to do in this run, but it was cool if you had a friend that had the game as well. Although if you did, you would just be better off playing the actual card game with your friend. And this pack was trash. Coming up though, I wish I would have freeze framed when he says goodbye. Little winky emoji face before emojis were popular. Dr. Mason, a man ahead of his time. You'll see that the playtime and the time of this video don't match up. Again, obviously that's because I sped up the tutorial. I probably could have afforded to speed it up even further. If I continue this, there's going to be a lot of matches to display. And then the technician here tells us about the Egyptian god cards. Just kidding. Just legendary cards, which aren't even really better than regular cards. But that's pretty much all I've got for this video. I will catch you guys in the next one.